Hey, it's fresh, fresh, exciting. Do 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 do. Hey, Zest for Life, aka Fresh Mart Scents, the best scents on the market, bringing you something original every day. Now, what is this delivery that has come that has made me feel so fresh and excited today? I'm talking about something with the name of Fresh. This is the company Fresh, and I thought I was walking by I was just going towards John Lewis, and I wanted to check out some fragrances, and I saw this store. It was called Fresh, and it was full of fragrances, and I thought, yeah, let's check this out. Wow, this is amazing. I mean, why not? Is it really fresh? Is it really those natural scents that we can pick up? They were all natural scents, they said. They were emphasizing one note each in each perfume. And I found most of the fragrances that were sampled quite feminine. But in this collection that was marketed as feminine or say unisex now, this is the most masculine fragrance there. And the fragrance is fresh. The brand is fresh, and the fragrance is called Cannabis Santal. Now, for all you stoners out there, that's why I'm, dressed up all shaggy and all this, like Shaggy from Scooby Doo with the big beard and everything. Sorry, I didn't shave. But this is not too shabby. I sprayed this in store, and is this a stoner? Is this a smoky cannabis smoke joint fragrance? I'm not sure. I think you'll be very disappointed on first smell because you cannot smell that note in the beginning. But what you will get is a surprising melange of notes that does remind me of a more natural. Let's just take this out of the box. This is like a CK thing. Don't throw away your box. That's where the atomizer is. Otherwise, you have a CK1 problem. Yes. So here's the bottle. Cannabis Santal Eau de Parfum, 100 ml. And this reminds me of A Star Men or A Men by Angel, by Mugler Fragrances. And it smelled like a more natural version, like the sweet notes. Let's just spray it. The sweet notes reminded me of a more natural version of A Star Men, but it was natural, it was clear, it wasn't a muddle of notes, and it didn't have that jasmine that I detested from there. So let's check this out. On a new t-shirt. Wow. Oh, actually, you do get that. Oh, actually, it's smelling more like cannabis now, actually, because I'm expecting it in the heart note. So, the heart note of this fragrance, it has. Oh, this is weird. It doesn't have a cap. It just has a spray atomizer. Okay. So, you initially get the top notes of plum, bergamot, and this cannabis note is like an green leaf, apple sour green leaf note. It is like a unrolled, so rolled cannabis, not really, not smoked or burning or anything, but it had that slight sour, sweet funkiness going on, and the plum gives it some depth and some fruitiness, and that is carried through the perfume. It's quite heavy in the beginning when it's quite light and fresh, and then it gets heavy when the chocolate and wood settle in. So now the chocolate is like a truffle. It really does remind me of Tom Ford Black Orchid, that chocolate note, or Tom Ford Noir, the original. Like I really love the Tom Ford Noir, the way how the leathers mix with the musk and the chocolate, and it creates a dark, crunchy chocolate note, like a really textured dark chocolate note. So this is beginning to have that texture with the woody note of patchouli. So the similarities are coming close now to Angel in that it has a very woody note, a very chocolatey note, but the difference is that this smells natural with its fruity note. Um, I beg to differ. It's not natural at all with A-Star Men. That's the one thing I had a gripe with. I was okay with the sweet notes, but when the jasmine came in, that's really not for me. And this doesn't have jasmine. This has a nice, soft, sweet rose note. And I think the rose note is supposed to accentuate that sort of green cannabis note that is it, to add some soft, powdery nature to it. Almost like it's being steamed but not smoked. Or and it does smell a little bit like rosin, which is cannabis extract if it's heated to 220 degrees. If you get a hair straightener and put that in between a baking sheet, you'll have some cannabis extract, which is that is well good enough to dab basically. But this is it has that sort of sour terpenic smell, which is sweet, but it's definitely there. The musky note, I think, comes in with the wood and gives it a lived-in patchouli feel. Not a dirty patchouli like A-Star Men. It's a clean, dry, sweet patchouli, but the musk gives it a lived-in feel and melds the light green note with the chocolatey note, and then the earthy notes are coming in. So these earthy notes are the baseline herbal notes, and not so herbal, but herbal, musky, tiny herbal, and more musky. And it feels like we've got a plum, chocolate, slight green apple musk thing going on, which is intriguing. But the reason why I bought this is because it lasts forever on clothes. As a scent, it projects on a medium projection, sort of. I mean, that far away from you, but far away you can smell little wafts of fruitiness from this, little wafts of wood. From this distance, you could smell. I mean, you would smell like sort of the light cannabis and truffle, chocolate, and woody note. It's fruity at the end of its stage of transformation, let's say, after the base notes. You're getting chocolate wood and fruity wafts of almost like a it's plum, but it's almost raspberry like plum. It has that zinginess to it where it could just pop out, and it feels like there's a I was going to say a very soft tobacco note, but I think that's the earthy notes coming into it, the earthy notes mixing with the soft uh, sandalwood like rose. It's a very powdery rose. I feel like there's some sandalwood in the base, even though it's not noted in the description. But this feels like a more natural, slightly herbaceous with the cannabis. It's not really herbaceous because it doesn't have a green bitterness to it. There's no bitterness at all. There's sourness, but there's not bitterness. So the slight sourness makes the apple-like cannabis note pop. Um, Musk gives it a slightly aromatic, let's say, aromatic, not herbal, aromatic aspect to it. It feels like there could be cardamom, but just the residual end of the cardamom. And I think that's sort of what's happening with the cannabis note. It's like the end of the cardamom, the end of the spiciness of cardamom, um, with yeah, with a slight apple sour zing note. It's fantastic, really. And when I wore this 2 days later, I smelt my cuff. And the reason why I bought this, sorry, I went off topic, was I could actually smell the wood and the raspberry like plum zinging and fruiting out. It's like with fruity bursts, you know. And I was like, what is that? That smells like angel to me, but without all the notes that I hate, like without all that sort of rubbery weirdness. That rubbery weirdness, I think that's just people's nose getting acclimatized to the fragrance. The A-Star Men. It's a very strong scent from beginning to end, so noses will go a little bit crazy and muddled in the beginning. Uh, it's like the nose has many scents and it's trying to roll down the Rolodex. Like, what is that? Oh, we got raspberry, we got sweetness, oh, we got patchouli, ding, 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 it makes sense. But with this, you get the plum, you get the chocolate, you get the masket. It really comes into its own as it's almost like a fruity, vanilla, woody, aromatic perfume with fruity wafts at the end, fruity and woody wafts at the end, and aromatic heart, which has some earthiness. So and it's deep, slightly resinous, warm, and slightly zingy with the cannabis and plum infusion. And then from far away, it's sweet, slightly terpenic, woody, and a bit fruity. So this scent does change quite a bit, but I think it's more about what you get from it. So you get wafts of fruit and wafts of wood at different times. So it doesn't change so much, but what you smell would change depending on the wind and the skin chemistry. So I'm getting the plum, chocolate, and sandalwood touches rose combination with cannabis. And I feel that this has everyday value, this has signature scent value, this would be great in autumn, but I think it's light enough and sweet enough to wear in summer because it doesn't have an incense note. I believe if it did have an incense note, it would be too smoky or uncomfortable to wear in summer. But I think I could wear this all year round. And it's actually a fantastic perfume for not smelling directly like cannabis or a burnt cannabis because that's done already. And I already have Hindu Kush, which is incense and cannabis note, which is kind of cool, um, but it's quite strong on the spices. I could layer these two up if I want to get like arrested for no reason, but um, but yeah. So cannabis santal by Fresh or Hindu Kush. Oh, wait. Hindu Kush. Which one do I like more off the top if I was to compare them? Hindu Kush has a stronger sort of cannabis note. It's got a sort of Clive Christian X, Clive Christian number five, that sort of spiciness and labdanum combination. Uh, Black Afghano is nothing compared to both of these. It's just a very abrasive scent, I'd say. But Hindu Kush, it's got a bright cannabis note, but this is more enjoyable because it's surrounded by other notes that complement it, like plum and the like. And I feel that this is more wearable every day without being offensive. But if you wanted to wear Hindu Kush, like when I do, you have to not care about offending people, and this is the least offensive out of the two. So that is a side note. But if you wanted to compare Hindu Kush with this cannabis santal, I'd find that this is slightly more offensive, but it's got a stronger cannabis note if you're looking for that. And this is a smoked cannabis note if you're looking for that. Hindu Kush by Mansura. But if you want a fresh, fruity, woody, aromatic, and vanilla fragrance that has the aspects of A-Star Men without the annoying jasmine or coffee note, and it has the sort of Nishan Annie, was it fruity and vanilla notes because I was checking out a Nishan Annie. I remember I sprayed it in store once and I wanted to buy it, but it was very expensive. It was like 270 or something for Nishan Annie. It was like a raspberry and vanilla with wood. But I thought I already have that with Gucci Guilty. But this really has that fruity and woody dry down that you could smell for a long time. That keeps on giving you woody and fruity vanilla wafts. Um, this is that niche level of perfumery that would get you that scent. It's fantastic that I have it because I thought I couldn't afford it with the Nishan Annie price, but this is wow. I got this for 71 because I got 10% off on an £80 bottle or something. But I think this is fantastic, really. Um, yeah, check it out for a fresh cannabis scent that is actually wearable on a daily basis. and something that would not be abrasive but very nice for you as a person. Well, I like it personally. It's quite a personal scent, but definitely search up the brand Fresh, because this brand, it's kind of hit and miss, but I think this one is something definitely worth looking at. Check it out in London, check out the store, and whatever you do, people, stay free and stay fresh. Two more sprays. Oh, it's a nice one. Just getting that nice 5% maceration. Always spray your bottles a few times before you, well, show them to other people, because they need time to macerate. Stay fresh.